the essence of today is not about the proper channels you should follow. Having found yourself in the immediate situation, what do you do? And in relation to Ms. McCarthy's question of boundaries, I remember my second time in Germany, the conference is on a university campus. And say there are 10 persons walking. 2 of them were lecturers, but you were never could we, the 3 of us as Jamaicans, identify who the 2 lecturers of the 10 persons were. No one was in a suit. No one was carrying a satchel looking a certain way, different from what the students were carrying. All 10 of them were either walking or riding a bicycle. You understand? It was like that. That's their culture.
How about they carrying
more
tablets?
relaxed. They were all carrying tablets.
Oh, okay.
It's Germany.
Oh, okay.
If you should, however, come to Jamaica and ask for a mix of persons at this university, you can almost immediately identify those who wear a yellow ID and those who wear a blue ID because of the formal culture in which we live in, as I said earlier. Therefore, when you come to boundaries in Jamaica, of course, I do not know the handbook on boundaries in the teacher-student relationship, but I can imagine that you are expected to speak English when addressing the teacher, regardless of where. If it's immediately in the classroom, definitely English, especially at DCS. If you're on the campus, I'm assuming, it's still English, depending on who you are, However, in 2012, when you have BB and Facebook and social media completely inundating us, and at what point did we draw the line to say, all right, I'm going to add this person to BB, I'm going to add this person to Facebook? Because in social media, we're all equal. It's social for crying out loud, it's social media. So I was in Spanish on a bus the other day, and a student of DCS came in and said, Miss, you never know where Spanish they come from. No, to be honest, I didn't mind the use of
the salutation.
No, the miss. The miss was a bit much. The miss was a bit much, and the fact that he spoke Pato, that was irrelevant to me, But I didn't take umbrage to that. But I'm assuming other persons would have. But I'm assuming also that student would know who they can say this to and who they can't. Because the teacher in the classroom would have already identified their personality. So while I can't say, Ms. McCarthy, rule number 1 is XYZ, the teacher would have in their confines while dealing with the student would have had some sort of get together to say, this is who I am, this is who I expect you to be, and don't get my cell phone number or whatever it is, or I have a separate Facebook page for students, whatever it is. So you separate yourself because not all of us are very good at compartmentalizing our lives.
So can we then walk away from here now with the conclusion, which we might have to research later on, Ms. McCarthy, that the boundary rules are not necessarily written? Are they probably formed by teachers form their own boundary rules and students form their own boundary rules? Yeah, I was getting that. That's quite so. Let me ask another question because I heard something came out earlier on. Do we believe that the term, with all due respect, connotes a negative or a positive reaction? When you start a question by, with all due respect, what do you expect?
You put people on edge. You put people on the defensive, I wish you come with now. So as we focus on the,
yes. So as we focus on the right thing to say, probably we should look at how we phrase and how we approach our lecturers so that we can remember, there are 2 things here. 1, we pay our money and we want to get the best for our money. But remember again that all these, the thing that we are working for, all these lecturers have it already. This degree that we are working for, all these lecturers have it already. So we need, as students, to fix our questions or approach in a form that would crave positive answers. Yes, Ms. Simmons.
We operate under what is called a high power distance in this part of the world, specifically. What do I mean by that? There is a significant difference between the teacher and the student. It is noted in speech, it is noted in dress, it is noted in behavior in general. So, as Ms. Wilson said earlier, she's not aware of that set book that says this is how the teacher behaves, this is how the student behaves. It is really dependent on the individual to determine how far a student can go with him or her. Likewise, the student ought to put up their own boundaries. This is as much liberty, for lack of a better word, that I will allow my instructors to take with me. Because the reality is we have children coming here, and yes, I do mean children. We have children coming here, we also have adults coming here. We have young adults, we have older adults. And sometimes, by virtue of seniority, we automatically step up and treat people the way we think they should be treated. And then, by lack of seniority, then the other people get anything. So I believe that the actual instructor is the one to determine what is going to be okay. This whole social media thing, that also is very optional. Yeah. My number is privileged information. Yes. Some instructors are okay, their cell number is on their course outline, mine is not there. I do have a reason for that. It doesn't mean that a student cannot get my number. And usually if a person who has my number, someone I didn't give it to, the minute they call, one of the first questions is, how did you get this? Okay. It's not like I'm not going to talk to you, but I'm very concerned because I am going to be myself outside of here. Pardon me?
Yes. Why is that relevant? Why is that relevant?
I'm sure you can determine by yourself why that is relevant. I do reserve the right to keep some things. And I do have another number. I have a number in the office. I have a student, I have an email account that students have access to. I have office hours. So if I have made myself more than available, why do you need to call me when I have gone home?
But is there a point when you stop being a teacher? I mean, I see a teacher as somebody who has committed themselves to a lifelong thing. So you're a teacher and we'll always recognize you as a teacher. When you're old, you're still our teacher, you have taught us, and you will always be a teacher. I understand that in any particular discipline, you're going to need some amount of personal life, personal livelihood. But is there a point when you stop being a teacher?
I think we established that earlier. There's not necessarily a point you stop being a teacher, but there can be points where you desist from acting in your capacity as a teacher. So you have an assignment that is due for me at midnight. I have made myself more than available in daylight hours, and you call me at 11:59 to say, Miss? No, I do have a... Free nights. Oh, thank you so much. Free nights are not free for people who work. Free nights do not exist for people who work, who have spent their day engrossed in their jobs and need to rest so we can come back and give our best tomorrow.
Sorry.
So what is free nights?
Excuse me. Can we direct the questions here?
So what exactly is free nights? Which night is free? Which night don't you have assignments to do?
We also need to remember that, yes, you never cease being a teacher. However, it is a profession. It's not who you are. There is Ralna Simmons, the individual, and then there is Miss Ralna Simmons, the lecturer in the Department of Communication Studies. You need to acknowledge the fact that her existence is not because of you. She don't wake up in the morning because you allowed her to.
All right. Let me just add to the question of when do you stop being a teacher? Those of us who are parents, I have 2 biological adult children, and I will always be their parent. But there are some things they don't ask me for, because they are past the stage when they ask me for certain things and expect certain answers. I never stopped being a parent. But even a parent-child relationship has boundaries, that you don't ask your parent for certain things at a certain age and expect the same response that you would have gotten if you were 12 or 13 or 10 or 5.